Okay, it says it's recording. So I had Barbara Coloroso, um, which she is very similar to Love and Logic. So if you remember what you just learned in Love and Logic, you're gonna learn it also with Barbara Coloroso. Um, Obviously, this lady that's beautifully hiding in the corner of this document. So I don't have a lot of background information on her because I don't think it really matters as much with her, because she used to be a Franciscan nun, which is kind of cool. And I tried to look into that, see how that influenced her, and then it just didn't. And she's been an active author for 44 years, along with being an author. She's like a counselor for people. She's very anti-bullying. She's a guest lecturer often, but she wasn't like an educator. She wasn't a theorist. She's just kind of like an anti-bullying advocate who used to be a nun and writes about it. The like coolest fact I found out about her is like she went to court to fight like a copyright claim, where she said one of her co-authors completely plagiarized her, so she didn't turn in her manuscript. And so they took her to court, and then because she didn't turn in the manuscript and she was supposed to, like required by her contract, she lost. And then her co-author wrote an article but disguised himself under someone else's name and said like she admitted to perjury and yet she's not getting any kind of fine or imprisonment for it. So that was kind of funny, but also like really doesn't matter. So I couldn't find anything substantial that went in here. She's still alive. She was born in 1948. So she's old, but she's kicking, and she's still guest lecturing, and she's still apparently writing. I don't know what after that whole like ordeal went down in 2017, I think. And then she's all about respect. That's like what she harps on, with her bullying or with her like educating lectures. All of it like hinges on respect. So like she has this quote that when we use punishment, our children are robbed of the opportunity to develop their own inner discipline, the ability to act with integrity, wisdom, compassion, and mercy when there is no external force holding them accountable for what they do, which I think is very Franciscan nun. It sounds like, you know, like God, like it sounds like a prayer almost, like with like the external force and everything. But it's just about that respect. So her, since I clicked on Zoom, it didn't let me hit my mouse. But her principal teachings are encouraging students to take ownership when they've done wrong, not giving in to students who barter about punishment, introducing ways for students to take control. So saying like, you have this problem, what are you going to do about it? Treating students how you'd want to treat your peers or other adults, so mutual respect. And then using natural and reasonable discipline without bribing or threatening students, because she says that that is completely ineffective. Like students shouldn't be bartering for their punishment. They should have to take it. Whether or not they have a say in what the punishment is, whatever, they can't barter away from it. Like crying to try and convince you otherwise. Like just use all this natural and reasonable discipline. So I wanted to throw us directly into an activity to like work this out. So we're gonna just click on our random one. Gabby. So what we have is a lesson transcript on one side in your Word doc, and then like a response. So we'll have like Gabby go start reading the transcript, and then one of you, I just need any one of you to interrupt her, be a little mean, don't be afraid to like hurt her feelings. She's like pretending to be a teacher, and she's teaching like psychology, so she kind of deserves it. So just interrupt her, and then Gabby has instructions on the way that she needs to respond to that interruption. So whenever you're ready to unmute, come on in, and then we'll start interrupting you and being real mean. Guess I can stop sharing.
My apologies. The document is
okay.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so in the last section, we examined some early aspects of memory. In this section, what we're going to do is discuss.
Why does this matter?
I don't remember the last section at all. What did we do?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't even like psychology.
okay.
What's the
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out how I'm supposed to respond to this. Okay.
As an adult would wish to be treated.
As an adult would wish to be treated. Well, psychology does matter because it is real world experiences. Anyways, so let's do that by beginning with the concept on slide 2, and that concept is overlearning.
I don't have the slides.
All right, thank you, Gabby. You responded. Now I'm gonna go back into my docs and just pick another random one. So have fun. You get to be the next one, Karen.
Here we go. Okay. Alrighty. How important is it for people to contribute to society in some way? After the tragedy of 9/11, some people have become preoccupied with this question.
9/11 isn't real.
Oh,
Bush did 9/11.
hold on. All right. I see that this is sparking a lot of conversation. All right. So I'm glad we all have ideas, but let's kind of hold off on them till we kind of get through the lesson, and maybe I'll just like hopefully this will change your mind or something. I don't know. Okay, so let's continue. Tragedies have a way of making people rethink their values and find a new focus. They make people think on some level about what a society needs in order to survive. Not just what was that?
I don't think.
You don't think? Why?
Yeah, she's real stupid.
Bathroom.
Yeah. Okay.
I liked that one. Not that I didn't like the other one, but like the response Karen was supposed to give is like having the student take ownership. So like repeating what happened, like Bethany asking or like saying I don't think, then saying you don't think, why? So encouraging them to take ownership of it. So then there we go, we have that example. Picking a new one. Karen, you did great.
9/11 isn't real. That caught me off guard. Good work.
So we got Bethany's.
Oh my god, okay, hold on, let me pull it up. Okay. In the last
I have a question.
Yeah,
This
what's
is
up?
like not even meant to interrupt your lesson. Can we say what work like the students need to be doing ahead of time? Because I was like, is there anything specifically you're looking for us to interrupt you with so that you can
students will
demonstrate?
interrupt in general. But like all of these are responses that you can use. So like 9/11 isn't real. I think Karen did do a good job like saying like this is sparking a lot of conversation. This is something we need to hold off on. Like there's like a good response there. Because like kids will say stuff, and there are probably kids that will say like 9/11 isn't real. So like any kind of interruption as the student, I think is just going to emulate that. Like even if you just unmute and just cough really, really loudly, there are students that'll just like cough to interrupt a lesson.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, I guess I'm on brand then. All right.
In the last class, we discussed the nature of groups, how they are formed, and what characteristics they have.
I wasn't here last class.
All right, I will go ahead and get you the notes.
Yeah, because you were partying.
Oh
All right, we need to keep the conversation to a minimum. I'll go ahead and
always
get
has
the
something
notes.
to say. That's all I got.
What? Sorry.
I said Elizabeth always has something to say.
All
And you have
right.
a problem with that, Karen?
Do you want to?
Yeah, I do. Leave Gabby alone.
I like.
Okay,
it's
I like
fine.
was just jealous. She was
Literally,
like,
why
"Oh,
does it matter if I was
Each
there?
other, I'm going to have to mute you all. I don't want to have to do that, but I may have to mute you all.
So you're taking our voices now?
Yeah, literally what?
That was great.
Thank you.
Bethany's was introducing consequences. Muting you all. I wish I could give you that privilege. Only I can mute everyone.
Yeah, I was like, I can't mute them. And
But
I
I
was
would
like,
give it to you so fast.
thank you.
All of this fighting.
Karen coming at me. Okay.
It's just so funny because there's 3 Elizabeths in here.
I love that.
All
that's
of us in one group.
There's a confusion.
Like, huh?
She's like, what did I
Wait,
do?
what?
All right, I like did my little circle, so now we have Liz Laux.
Okay, so let's just get started. First of all,
No,
different
Mom, I'm not
cultures
hungry.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No, Mom, I'm not hungry. Oh, sorry.
Whoever is not needing to be talking should probably mute their mics, please. Thank you. The cultural anthropologist Edward T. Hall popularized the idea that cultures use time and view time in very different ways.
Time isn't real.
Time isn't real.
Some
No.
man-made construct.
It looks like someone has a problem with unmuting and interrupting. That's fine. I'm just going to need you to sit on your hands. Let's solve this problem.
There it is. Because Elizabeth's was, you have this problem. Here's the plan to do it, like to deal with it. So that's a great one. So we have one left. The other Elizabeth,
That's me.
whenever you're ready.
All right. Everyone experiences stress on some level every day. Sorry, I had to read.
I'm so stressed out right now. I have so many
This
assignments that
lesson
are
is
due.
stressing me out.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
I
AP
know that's
Yeah.
rough, and I'm sorry to hear that. We're all under a lot of stress, but I need you guys to keep quiet and listen to me while we're doing the lesson, okay? So I'm gonna keep going, and we can have just time for discussion
What
later.
if I don't wanna?
Well, right now we're just gonna listen. So if you don't want to, sorry, but we're going to listen right now because we have time for the lesson. We have time for discussion later. So if you want to talk, you can talk later.
But
Okay.
what if I want to talk right now?
I'm gonna forget
Sorry.
my question. Like,
Right now, we have
like
time for
literally.
the lesson, and the only time is for the lesson. If you have a specific question, you can raise your hand in Zoom, but you cannot just be talking right now. I will mute your mics. If you want to
Can I put my
put
question
any
in the chat?
questions, yeah, you can put the questions in the chat. You can raise your hand, and I will be checking the chat, and I will have time for questions, but right now is not the time to be talking.
All right,
All right.
so that one was allowing students to barter but never giving in. And I didn't know if you guys would try to barter with her, so I like threw in, but then everyone else bandwagoned. It was beautiful. Also, thank you, Liz, for putting 420 in the chat because this is a recording, and so hopefully the chat doesn't show up on that.
oh. I'm just playing the part of a middle school or high school.
Yeah.
Literally, that would happen. She said, "Put it in the chat," and there's gonna be a kid who's gonna put 69 or 420 in the chat.
Your mom.
Someone else responds 9/11 isn't real. I just learned that in a different class.
Oh no.
But yeah, ultimately the summary of this is that like she wants you to respond in the way that seems like the most natural and reasonable. She says to look at it from the point of view of a parental figure, essentially. So like as like a former nun, there's obviously that idea of like the parental watching of God the Father. And then she's interpreting that as like educators are like your parents in that moment because obviously schools act in loco parentis when you're there. So if you're acting in that role, if you're reasonable when you respond to them, whether that's posing like, here's your problem, how are you going to solve it? Or doing what we just saw, like not giving into bartering, like setting your foot down, making sure they know you are the adult in the room, all of that is going to turn out more and more beneficial in every classroom. Any kind of interruption, even if it's time isn't real, or like, what if I don't want to, or just accidentally unmuting, all of that can be somewhat solved by these forms. So that's what I got.